Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name's Carmen, and today we're going to do a reading for Capricorn about Secret Crush. So let's see what comes out. And call in spirit with some moonchime time. I'm really excited because I have a new deck, another tattoo tarot. And while I'd really love to start with it, it's a little bit smaller in size, so I think I'll wait a little bit and we'll do that for clarification, but we'll start with the Egyptian tarot. And from there, we're going to figure out who the people are so you can determine whether or not this resonates for you. And then we can get to that other tattoo tarot and see what information comes out regarding the situation. So the first two cards out, we've got the Knave of Wands and the Eight of Chalices. So what's interesting about this is we've got, it looks like somebody who has been working or studying on something, they're walking away from that investment. So there's a change here in terms of somebody's focus. Ooh. All right, interesting. We've got the Knave of Pentacles coming out, as well as the King of Wands. Makes a lot of sense, actually. So I just said somebody's walking away from something they've invested some time into. And we've got another depiction that really makes me think of somebody who's been studying or taking notes, trying to get better at something, maybe learning from someone else. And with the pentacle at the top, you can see it kind of looks like a sun. And that's pretty common throughout the Egyptian tarot. But this is giving me the feeling that somebody is getting a lot of happiness from something that they're working towards. And the King of Wands is an excellent persona to match up with this, because the King of Wands is known for being a little bit reckless or impulsive, but along with that attitude comes like some of that Aries, like get shit done kind of energy, right? So the King of Wands, like think about that wand that he's holding as a goal or objective that he has. Maybe it's a professional goal, maybe it's some hot chica he wants to get with, whatever it is, he's focused, very focused. But with the Eight of Chalices in the middle here, it's like there's a shift or a pivot. So it might not be a complete change for this King of Wands. It might just be, let's see. There's an example. Maybe he wanted to go for architecture and then decided, no, I think I'll actually do community planning. Something where there's like a little bit of a different shift there. And we've got Queen of Chalices coming out. This is a woman who is beloved. She's generally seen as somebody who is loving, caring, generous, kind, and that's why people love her, right? So this King of Wands could be interested in this Queen of Chalices after maybe sleeping on her for a little bit. Just to clarify that, that means like maybe she didn't make her value super apparent and he didn't realize that she was worth that much, because see, when I have the cards laid out, she's looking in his direction, but he's looking a different direction. But remember I said he pivoted. So he might have found out just how incredible this Queen of Chalices is after initially kind of writing her off. All right, one more card from the Egyptian tarot, and then I think I'm actually going to do a double tattoo tarot, because we've got the larger set of tattoo tarot. Ooh, pentacles just for you guys. And then we've got the smaller one that I just told you about. All right, let's see. What else do we have for the Capricorn Secret Crush? Five of Cups. I'm a little concerned that this feminine has kind of given up because when you're talking about the Five of Cups energy, you're talking about somebody who is crying over spilt milk. And if you can think about it in those terms, there's definitely a chance that this feminine energy has been lamenting the fact that she hasn't heard anything or nothing has happened between her and this King of Wands because, secret crush, she is not aware that something has changed. Okay. Sorry, guys. I always love to have a little sickness when the weather changes, right? Also wanted to acknowledge all of the, all three of you, I'm just kidding, all of the folks that are outside of the US that tune into my channel because I know I saw some from India and Australia. So when I say things like, I hope spring is going well for you, or I hope you are having a good morning when it's nighttime, apologies, but I appreciate you for watching. So the first two cards we have out from the big tattoo tarot is the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. I think there's a pretty good chance that the masculine energy here is a fire sign, but let's not get too caught up on that. Fire sign, by the way, would be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And this Ten of Wands card, I don't know if you got to see it enough, but it's pretty dramatic, right? There's, you can almost hear the, pew, right? This is a pretty serious ending or a pretty serious burden that the King of Wands was dealing with. And the Eight of Pentacles is a great card to come out for clarification on the Knave of Wands because it was pretty clear that there was some sort of study happening or working towards a plan. And the Eight of Pentacles is an excellent card to back that up because it actually speaks to somebody getting pretty close to mastering what it is that they're, going after. But then we have this Eight of Cups, so very curious. Let's see, what do we get for the Eight of Chalices here? Six of Cups. Sorry, Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands is a beautiful card, and I just have to say, I don't know if anyone else sees Drew Barrymore in that art, but I definitely do. Maybe that resonates for someone. I would love to hear about it if it does. But this is telling me that the pivot or the walking away from something that you had invested in for this King of Wands. See how there's two wands behind her and then the rest are in front of her? I think the King of Wands felt like there was something really great about this probably relationship that he was in, or maybe it was a belief system, like not wanting to commit to people. And then see the Four Wands in front that I would argue she's more focused on. I think the pivot here is that this King of Wands has realized that there is greater success and happiness with a different path. All right, tell me more about the Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, so I do have to comment real quick because we've got a couple of duplicates in terms of numbers, and I always think it's important to call that out because numbers do mean things, and you may see things over and over again. We call that synchronicity, right? So if you're consistently seeing 444 when you check your phone for what time it is, then you might want to just kind of Google that and see what it means. We've got the Five of Cups coming out again. So you had that come out for the last card from the Egyptian Tarot, and this one is clarifying the Knave of Pentacles. So I think this feminine energy has dealt with thoughts of, am I the problem? And I can definitely relate to that. When you have a series of I don't really want to call them failures. I would rather call them endings or changes that maybe you weren't necessarily like trying to go for, whether, professional, romantic, familial, whatever it is. It's easy to, at a certain point, start to wonder, am I the common denominator? Am I the problem? And I think that's where this Queen of Chalices head went to after a number of um, problems or disappointments. But it's not the Queen of Chalices. The Queen of Chalices would not come out as the Queen of Chalices in, the upright if she were the problem. She would must more likely come out as like the Queen of Swords in the reverse, or maybe the Queen of Wands in the reverse, but there would definitely not be a Queen of Chalices who is the toxic individual. So if you identify with the Queen of Chalices, please take a moment, take a deep breath, and remember that when you're a particularly caring, empathic individual, you will collect people who see that in you and want to take advantage of you for it. And presumably, over time, you will notice a pattern of behavior, recognize that this is not good for you, and then decide to leave. So, if you want to identify something to work on as the Queen of Chalices, I would encourage you to ask yourself, am I chasing people? Don't do that. Stop it. Whatever is meant for you will be for you. And when you try to force something that doesn't happen organically, you're probably putting a puzzle piece where it doesn't belong, if that makes sense. It's it's a lot better to sit back, get comfortable, acknowledge that there are things that flow and move in life, and those things that are meant for you will flow to you. You don't have to be doing, you know, cartwheels and jumping jacks or foot fires to get somebody to be in love with you when they're already in love with you. Do you know what I'm saying? So this Queen of Chalices needs to work a little bit more on the boundaries and the access. What do I quantify or qualify as the limit? What is acceptable and not acceptable? Shit, write it down so you don't forget. And then stick to them, and then don't allow access to people who disregard or disrespect those boundaries. Period. Okay, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now. Queen of Chalices for Capricorn. Ace of Wands. Somebody wants a new beginning with you, and you want that beginning too, because look at how the feminine is looking at the wand. Not gonna lie, I'm definitely getting some like horny vibes off of this. It definitely looks like a wiener, I'm not gonna lie. So the other thing is, look at how our senorita here has like a little city on top of her head. I think this Queen of Chalices spends a little bit too much time analyzing, and it's not necessary. There are times where we all have to just kind of slap ourselves on the wrist and say, that's some bullshit. You don't need to be doing that to yourself. You don't need to be over analyzing things. Again, non attachment. Whatever is meant to be will be. Whatever is not meant to be will not be. The Emperor. Okay, so I want to do a little bit of clarifying here, but I'm getting a little bit of a split as far as the energy on the Emperor. I think the reason we have the Emperor clarifying the Five of Chalices is that it's not just this Queen of Chalices who is having some regrets or feeling a little bit of remorse in terms of how things went down. I think also the masculine energy here, the King of Wands, is having those thoughts. Great time for me to mention, we all have feminine and masculine energies within us, so don't get too caught up on the king or queen stuff. You can figure out how it's supposed to apply to your life. But with the Emperor, Do you see how he's looking straight ahead and not at the crystal ball in front of him? I get the impression that for for the Queen of Chalices here, there is a need to edit who has access to her energy and work on boundaries, whereas the masculine energy needs to work more on following their intuition. It can be kind of a tricky thing to switch gears if you're used to not listening to your intuition, but it's something that I think, quite frankly, both of these individuals need to work on. Okay, so yeah. All right, we're gonna jump over to the other tattoo tarot and see what clarification we get. There's that Six of Cups. So here's the Six of Cups with this adorable new deck that I've got. The Six of Cups is telling me that the burden the King of Wands was carrying and hopefully has now put down or is about to put down is somebody from their past, somebody they have a lot of good memories with, somebody who they believe they can get like success with. You guys, that's the third time we've had the Five of Cups come out. I'm also seeing a number of these eyes have red around them, so I think there's been a lot of tears shed, and I don't think it's just on one side. But I didn't actually get into the numerology of it. So you've got several fives here. Fives speak to change. Let's see, we've got freedom, changeable, curious, exploratory, resourceful, flexible, active, expansive, restless, discontent, impatient, hasty, irresponsible, uncommitted, and unstable. So it's a lot of words for the three fives you've got. But what I'm going to tell you is that with it being a consistent theme and with the way that it slowly moves over to the left of my board here, I see this as transitioning from the instability and the restlessness being more on the Queen of Chalices part to dissipating for her, where it's more of like actually, I kind of feel good. And now it's residing more with the masculine, whereas the masculine at the outset was feeling a little bit less unencumbered or concerned. What about the Six of Wands for Capricorn, please? We also have a couple of eights here, and eights talk about success. So we've got a common theme here where this King of Wands is very determined to have victory with this Queen of Chalices. However, I think there's also something here to be said about the Queen of Chalices being a successful or independent person on their own. Another five. Five of Swords. I don't think that's good. Sorry, that's vague. So I generally see the Five of Swords as a card of defeat. Sometimes it comes across as like manipulation or people working together to cause somebody pain. But I think this is actually kind of along the lines of a Five of Wands where there's some competition. So I think this King of Wands has maybe taken a little bit too much time, and this Queen of Chalices has been seen by someone else. In fact, that other option here for the Emperor, this could actually be another suitor. Someone who has their shit figured out a little bit better. That'll be for some of you. And then we've got the Three of Swords coming out. So that's exactly, yeah. So Three of Swords is generally about too many cooks in the kitchen. There is somebody else, and I get the impression it's on this Queen of Chalices side, and this King of Wands is going to have to fight. Tell me more about the Ace of Wands. All right, and if you don't have your 3 yes or no questions figured out yet, make sure you jot those down, because I only have 2 more cards left with this deck, and then we're getting into the yes or no. The End. So the World to me almost always makes me think of the Doors song, The End. This is such a beautiful card. But it's not like a sad ending. This is the end of a cycle. I think this is the end of the Queen of Chalices letting people take advantage. There are changes that this Queen of Chalices is making in terms of how people can interact with her that will help this Queen of Chalices avoid future heartbreak. Tell me more about the Emperor, please. All right, so hidden energy. For those of you that are new to my channel, if it doesn't fall out but it flips over, I consider that hidden. And we've got the Devil. This is speaking of obsession to me. And I don't really like it. Do you see how there's 2 little dudes down on the bottom that are kind of chained? The Devil can represent anything that binds us, right? So it can be addiction or codependency. And I think when we pair it with the Emperor, there can be a risk of manipulation or like gaslighting. So I guess the warning here would be make sure that you're not falling into codependency if you're starting something new, and make sure that the something new is not trying to domineer or control you, because that is not a healthy relationship. So use your discernment. All right, we're ready for those 3 yes or no questions. Feel free to pause if you're not ready yet, but let's get those answers for you. I don't know if you played with the Magic 8 Ball like I did when I was a kid, but it was one of my favorite things. I should really get one for my table. All right, for Capricorn, please. What is the answer to the first question? Sorry to laugh. I'm not laughing at you. Not in a million years is definitely something I would have said in middle school, so it's super appropriate. I hope that's a good no for you. All right, question number 2, please. Yep. No way. Sorry, guys. It's another no. All right, and question 3 for Capricorn. Weather permitting. That's better than a no, right? So when I say the weather permitting card, I like to say that, you know, it's not necessarily literal. It's not literally saying if it's sunny outside, then shit's gonna go your way. But I think this is an underscore of that comment on intuition, okay? So use your discernment, use your feelings and your guts to figure out whether or not something is going to be for you or against you or not right for you, whatever it is. But I hope you found some assistance or some guidance here in the reading for you today, Capricorn. And I appreciate any likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. Have a great rest of your day.